Good morning, my family and friends. I thought I would do just kind of talk about what we're going to be planting in the garden this spring and kind of where I am. So I'm actually going to be doing some seeding today. I feel like I'm 3 weeks late. So I'll start out with what we're going to do in the garden this year. So we're going to do a lot, but not as much as we've done in the past. So we're going to do tomatoes. We'll do peppers. We'll do beets. We'll do green beans, squash, cucumbers, melons, um, kale, carrots, celery. Did I say sweet potatoes? Yeah, I think I did. And we're gonna get some artichoke going because we really like it, and it's just one of those things. So that's kind of the list, along with a few herbs that we're missing. And but now, right now, I'm going to get my tomatoes and peppers in seed trays. I'm going to do that today. So the way that I plan my garden, I actually use an application called Seed Time for planning. And this is kind of, I'll show you, this is like my planning, my schedule. And what I especially like about it, I just use the free version. But what I especially like about it is it has the ability to plan in a high tunnel. So you can set it up for, it's kind of a winter gardening thing, but you can set it up with one layer or two layers. But for the high tunnel, it's great because it kind of, just automatically calculates certain things for me. And I kind of like that. And I like the way it allows me to print out, especially for the beginning of the year, it allows me to print out a list of kind of a calendar telling me when things go in, when they go in seed trays, when they get transplanted out. And you can let it automatically do it for you. But I generally adjust it because my climate is very specific. And because I've grown in this area for a while, certain things I want them to go in at certain times. So anyway, so let's start with tomatoes, which is one of my favorites. So my absolute favorite big tomato is Roadster. And I get these from Haas, and they're beautiful. They're like huge, big, perfect, round red tomatoes. And they taste very good. So I really like that. I also always grow San Marzano, and you can see that my seeds come from lots of different places. And I like San Marzano for sauces and things like that. I'm adding uh, Amish paste this year, which I have not grown before. I got these from Baker Creek, and my seeds are not, none of these seeds were purchased this year. I do not throw seeds away. I plant seeds that are sometimes 10 years old and they still germinate. But I'm doing these in seed trays, so I know how many plants I'm going to get. So if it doesn't germinate, it's like, I haven't wasted space in the garden bed. And then my favorite eating tomato, which is the black brandywine. And I grow these every year. They're kind of a pain, but this is the only tomato that we like to eat fresh. It is just so good. So those are my tomatoes for this year. And then my peppers this year. So a couple years ago, I found a pepper called Aconcagua, and it is so good. And I saved seeds. So these are from 2023, and it's a large sweet pepper. Tastes kind of like a bell pepper. I mean, it's very similar to a bell pepper, except it is maybe 7 or 8 inches long, and it has the shape of more like what you typically see with a hot pepper, where it's tapered to a point. But they are really, really good. And then I always grow jalapenos, and I have some jalapeno seeds, but I'm looking for like a jumbo jalapeno, because that's mainly what we use them for, other than, we pickle some and things like that. But we really like jalapeno poppers, and also Texas Twinkies. Those are made with jalapenos, and they're really, really good. So anyway, so I'm going to grow jalapenos, but I'm going to see if I can find a big jumbo jalapeno, and I think Johnny's has one. So, and then the other thing I'm going to grow is Sinahuiza. And I got these actually from the seed bank in Tucson. And this is a very old variety. and from Sonora, Mexico. And this is what we like to make our fermented pepper sauce out of. We've also made it out of Tabasco. We did Tabasco, but it was way too hot. So I'm going to grow these. These are super prolific so I only need, like 2 plants. And then I'm also going to grow the Sunbright, and this is just a bell pepper. And I just have a lot of seeds, and so I think I might as well grow them. I actually, a lot of times, if I have a lot of peppers, I dice them up, and I just freeze them, and then I use them all year in soups and stews and things like that. And then celery, which is really slow, and artichoke. So those are the things that I'm getting ready to plant today. And then kind of my plan is my potatoes, which I already have, and I'm chitting them right now. Those go in on Valentine's Day. And then there's really not a huge amount. I'll plant another round of carrots. I've got carrots in the high tunnel now, but I'll plant another round of carrots because winter and early spring carrots are sweet and good. And then we'll probably spend March prepping our big garden beds, and we'll get our beets in to the ground in March outside of the high tunnel. And then in April, of course, lots of things get transplanted, and we'll seed melons and sweet potatoes and all of those things. But I'll kind of go through that when the time comes. But right now, that's what I'm working on. And yeah, I'm about 3 weeks late. I normally do this January 1st, but we had company, and it's just been busy. So I'm doing it late, but better late than never. So the other thing that I kind of wanted to give an update on our pantry challenge. We're actually really enjoying it, and it's pretty easy for us. The only thing is we're going to run out of a few things. We're going to run out of onions, and we're going to run out of a silly thing, Worcestershire sauce, which I just realized today. But the onions, I've got shallots in the ground out there, so I'm just kind of making them stretch, and we'll do as good as we can do. But we're definitely, because I have lots and lots of cabbage in the high tunnel, we are eating lots of cabbage, and I found some really wonderful recipes for cabbage. I've also been making cabbage rolls. And I think on my last video, I talked about, I read something about for pulling the leaves off for cabbage rolls, which is kind of the biggest amount of work. I read where you could put it in the microwave and like for 15 seconds and then pull it out and take a couple leaves and then put it back. My cabbages are too big. They don't fit in our microwave. So that doesn't work for me. So now I've read something that you can actually freeze them. And when you take them, when they thaw, the structure is slightly broken on the structure inside the ribs and things. So I'm going to try that because they'll fit in my freezer. Yesterday I harvested 7 cabbages, and our cabbages are like 8 pounds. They're huge, but they're so good. And I've still got more in the high tunnel, and I've had a couple that have broken open, and I've given those to the chickens, and the chickens, of course, love it. So yeah, we're harvesting Brussels sprouts right now, and we're still harvesting some carrots. We still have maybe 50 carrots in the ground. And so that's kind of the biggest stuff I'm working on. I'm weaving again. I've been sewing. I'm having fun, and I actually really like it. Our really cold weather we got through it froze the night before last, but last night it did not freeze. So our chickens did great. We've had to haul water for them, but now that we've stopped having freezing, I'll set back up their automatic water, and they're all fine. When it was really cold, I make a hot mash of their feed, and I soak it overnight, and then I give it to them really warm, and that helps. I think they've been loving that. So anyway, so I'm going to get to planting seeds. And I use one of these, and it's just a spray thing, so it doesn't displace everything. It's just but it puts a lot of water out. And that'll keep the perlite from blowing away, because I've got to walk them into the barn dough. Okay, so this is my setup. Very simple. It's a baker's rack, and I have lights that I bought on Amazon, and they're just LED lights. They're nothing fancy. And I have them on just little S-hooks and chains so that I can raise them up as the plants grow. And I actually have some down there, and so as they get bigger and they get repotted, they'll need to space out. And so that's how I do it, and it's very simple. I actually do bottom water because it's just not so messy. So I will fill all these trays, these bottom 10-20 trays up almost to the very top to make sure that they don't run out of water. The light is on a timer, and it comes on at 6 o'clock in the morning and goes off at like 6 o'clock at night. So it's on for 12 hours, and they're on a heat mat. And I got to tell you, I think a heat mat makes a huge difference. They germinate much faster, and I really like the heat mat. So I always use one. So that's my setup. My seeds are planted. I'm a pretty happy camper. So that's my seed starting for spring. And as you can see, the sink is right there. I mean, it's a little kitchenette, but it works great for this because we're not living here anymore. That's my little project for today. Hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Love y'all.